We had to give teachers a 5% raise. And we had to generate by abolishing vacant positions to come up with this raise. I don't think that the problem is insurmountable. I think the main thing we have to look at is that the two aspects. One is budget, the other is recruitment. There's still a bigger problem, and that's retention. Tennessee State at one time, on a graph, if I could say this, probably had 1/3 of the upper level students, 1/3 of mid-level, 1/3 probably made up the lower level. I'd say in the past few years, you probably have closed the top to within 5%. The mid-range is up to 10%, so it's leaving you 85% in the bottom rung. And success at any university, regardless whether it's TSU or any other school, with an 85% in the lower range, your retention is going to be very poor. So not only are you recruiting, trying to fill the gap with the students who are graduating, but you're trying to fill it also with a high turnover by retention. So right now we have a budget in which we're carrying personnel, and when I say personnel, not only teachers, I'm talking about administrators. Some schools we say that they have administrators 1 to 88. TSU, I believe maybe I noticed that it was 1 to 33. So I think the statistics speak for themselves. So we have a job cut out for us, is to either find more students to move it up to the great university it should be as a metropolitan university of 12 or 14,000, which its potential is there for it, or cutting back if it stays around to the 6,500 number of students that we have now.
Very good. Doctor, there are some who would raise a question in reference to the increase in the number of students. For example, a projected student enrollment of 12,000. Many tend to believe that somehow that would impact upon the historical population that Tennessee State University has generally served, that is the black population. Perhaps you could speak to that issue.
I sincerely believe that Tennessee State will still serve the number of black students that they've always had. Now, we have to be realistic about it. We have a court order, and maybe that's what you're referring to, but which says in 1992 that we should have a 50-50 population. I think right now I'm dealing with a situation of a budget that if we don't increase enrollment, we won't be here in 1992. But if we increase the enrollment to what our potential suggests, that is 12,000, as an administrator and having worked through desegregation in public schools and others, if there's a problem with the desegregation plan, I will get data and go back to the courts. But with 12% or 15% minority students in the state of Tennessee, and the court is saying for Austin Peay, Middle Tennessee State, University of Tennessee, Austin Peay and others, and out-of-state schools are looking at the academically talented black students as other race students for their school. So that's going to impact on Tennessee State University. If we are going to the 12,000 to 14,000 with only 12 or 15%, there's no doubt what the enrollment will be. I think it will go to 50% white because that's the population out there to pull on. But I don't think it will be at the expense of serving the same number we have today.
I think one of the great problems in reference to that, Doctor, is the belief on the part of many people that there represents a decline in black participation in higher education in Tennessee, period, and that Tennessee State University, that has traditionally produced the largest number of black graduates, is no longer in a position to do so. For example, last year there were approximately 1,000 fewer black students in higher education than there was the previous year. And of course this has very little to do with integration or anything else. It simply means that there's less money and
Sure.
That there are other problems
Sure.
outside of that. But I think that when people see this and they recognize that there's a deficit among black professionals and et cetera, they become concerned as to where are these blacks now coming from. And I think that that is the major problem.
I'm a firm believer in blacks in higher education, not only at Tennessee State University. I'm a firm believer in blacks in higher education in predominantly white schools. I think that we need to improve the numbers in the universities that are predominantly white. You know, I'm working in a predominantly white university and at the second highest position at that university, and I think that We've looked to increase black faculty members at that school. So I think there's jobs for them. I think the main thing is continue to prepare them and get them in the mainstream. I think we're losing a lot of our good black students to out-of-state schools. Western Kentucky, all of the schools now are looking for academically talented blacks that used to come to Tennessee State. But I still feel like that if the ratio was around 5,000 or 6,000 and has been there, I don't see any reason why there will not be 5,000 or 6,000 black students at Tennessee State University.
Very good. Doctor, we're going to have to break now for a Black Pulse profile, and we'll be back with you in just a minute.